Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, reveal the books I bought this week, and feature a mystery pop-up segment. What will it be? It's a mystery. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching The Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of The Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. This month is Domestic Violence Prevention Month. Now, I'm going to touch base on that later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Around last week's episode, I asked, which DC character does former University of Nebraska and NFL running back Ahman Green idolize? Well, the correct answer is Batman. And not only that, Green was also casted in Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice in 2016, all because of his love for Batman. Well, the answer is Batman, and 12 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is... Hey everyone, now this month is also Bullying Prevention Month. Now bullying is the use of force, coercion, hurtful teasing, or threat to abuse, aggressively dominate, or intimidate. The behavior is often repeated and habitual. One essential predicate is the perception of an imbalance of physical or social power. This imbalance distinguishes bullying from conflict. Bullying is a subcategory of aggressive behavior characterized by hostile intent, imbalance of power, and repetition over a period of time. Now, in the beginning, bullying was something that only happened in schools. In fact, it still does. But over time, there have been instances where bullying has gotten in colleges and universities. And one example is hazing within certain sororities and fraternities in each college. A lot of now, I don't care what anyone says, hazing is a form of bullying. I mean, it is, and a lot of this hazing has resulted in several deaths. And I'm so glad that a lot of colleges and universities are tightening up when it comes to this. And it also happens in the workforce. I mean, you have all these bosses, all these superintendents, all these supervisors, all these other folks that work in certain jobs. They go around and start bullying other workers and make them feel like they're objects when they're actually people. Now that's just despicable right there. Because there are folks that bully and they believe that just because the other person is an adult that they're not supposed to feel. Wrong. Not every person can handle certain situations the same way. And then studies show that when folks bully another person, it's because the person that's on the giving end is very unhappy about their lives, or there's something going about them and they feel like they have to take their frustrations on other people. That is wrong. There are other ways you can deal with what's going on in your life than having to make someone else suffer. Now, in schools, a lot of times it's usually students doing a deed. But there are teachers and principals and then folks that work for these school boards and the superintendent of the school boards who just either do one of two things. They either turn a blind eye or they'll say stuff like, oh, well, that student needs to grow a spine. Stop that. Because when you turn and you do this, you're just as guilty as the person or the student doing the deed. And then also that's guilt by association. School should be somewhere where not only students go to learn, but it also should be somewhere where students feel safe. And when you're just going around letting this happen, they're not safe. And then you wonder why some students don't want to go to your schools, or they're scared to death of going to schools, or they have a whole bunch of absences, or you wonder why their social skills aren't what they used to be, and they end up becoming people that they're not. And you wonder why, in a worst case scenario, they take their own lives. It's because you sit by and you do nothing. You need to do better. And then, and I've seen this I've seen this firsthand. There are even teachers and principals that even bully their own students. And then there are also educators in college that do the same thing. Look, just because you have 1, 2, 3, or sometimes 4 degrees, that does not give you the right to make your students look like objects. That is very despicable, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. And you don't deserve your jobs either. That's right, I said it. Now, y'all probably wondering, why am I feeling so strongly about this cause? Because I was bullied myself. I was bullied beginning in 2nd grade, and I thought that the night that I graduated from high school, I thought I didn't have to deal with this junk anymore. Boy, was I wrong. Because when I got into college, it was almost like high school part 2. Now, I had this twisted idea that because I was going to college, that I didn't have to deal with any of it. I thought college was somewhere where you could be accepted no matter how different you were from everyone else. That was not true. And I mean, it was horrible. And I'm not exactly hanging on to it per se, but I'm just using myself as an example. Someone that's been there. But through it all, I'm here. And I just want to say to any man, woman, boy, or girl who's going through something, who's going through the same thing that I went through or something similar to it, I love y'all. And if y'all ever want to talk, I'm here. But if you want someone that has a little more expertise than I do, then contact the Crisis Text Line. These are men and women who have the education, they have the expertise, and they specialize in helping people who are being bullied. Now, in order to contact them, you can either go on the website crisistextline.org, or you could text Connect, the word Connect, CONNECT, to 741-741. Please, sir, please, ma'am, because it stunk when I was bullied, but it really angers me even more when I find out that any man, woman, boy, or girl are being bullied. Bullying is wrong, period. No matter how old you are, no matter what you do, no matter what level of education you're at, bullying is bullying, and bullying is wrong. All right, this is a bullying prevention comic hero tee, and if you would like one, you can find them on IamTheComicHero.com/shop for $17, and I will donate half of each purchase to the Bullying Recovery Resource Center. All right, last week I went to Excalibur Comics to buy comics like I do on a weekly basis, and I saw the 3rd issue of this one book that was based on an old anime series that I grew up watching. And I said to myself, I am going to look for the first 2 issues. And I found them on Lone Star Comics' website, mycomicshop.com. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal what that book is. So, or the two issues that I bought. It's the same book, but it's the same book, but it's two different issues. But anyway, here we go. First up is Gatchaman number 1. And Gatchaman number 2. Alright, with those two, that brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 13,176. Hannah Boyd from Spring Hill, Louisiana. So congratulations, Hannah. You win yourself a free comic for the week. Oh, and by the way, I hope y'all enjoyed the mystery pop-up segment. I mean, bullying is something that really needs to be taken out of society, much less schools. Because it just doesn't happen in schools. It happens in schools, colleges, the workforce, just about anywhere you can think of. So, please sir, please ma'am, let's do better when it comes to bullying. If we see someone bullying, we need to act on it. And we need to get them right. Because, like, again, this kind of behavior is very unacceptable. All right, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is a Falcon and the Winter Soldier question, and it's also a Captain America question. On the TV show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which legendary recording artist did the Falcon say that Captain America loved to listen to? Now, here are the hints. The first hint is that this recording artist had duet recordings with the late great Tammy Terrell, like "If This World Were Mine," "Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing," "You're All I Need to Get By," and "Ain't No Mountain High Enough." The second hint, this recording artist once took a break from the music biz and tried out for the Detroit Lions. The third hint, this recording artist had a stellar solo career with hits like "Inner City Blues," "Distant Lover," "After the Dance," "I Want You," "Let's Get It On," "Got to Give It Up," "The Ecology," or the "Mercy Mercy Me" song, "Save the Children," "What's Going On," and "Sexual Healing." You know what? I shouldn't even have to. There's one more hint, but I shouldn't even have to go on, but I'm gonna go on anyway. The fourth and final hint: this recording artist was tragically murdered the day before his birthday by his own father in 1984. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in the drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Now, usually I would do a comic hero throwdown showdown segment or an any question segment, but because of the length of the mystery pop-up segment, I've decided to leave those for future episodes. So with that being said, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. All right, here we go. First up is Action Comics number 1071. Avengers Assemble number 2. Batman Superman World's Finest number 32. Catwoman number 69. Gatchaman number 3. Green Lantern number 16. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 25. Radiant Black number 30. Radiant Black number 30.5. The Spectacular Spider-Man number 8. Star Trek number 25. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin Re-Evolution number 3. Titans number 16. Ultimate Spider-Man number 10. The Uncanny X-Men number 4. Wolverine number 2. And finally, Wonder Woman number 14. Alright, that's 17, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 13,193. Alright, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. Here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. On the TV show The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which legendary recording artist did the Falcon say that Captain America loved to listen to? Now here's the hints again. The first hint is that this recording artist had duet recordings with the late great Tammy Terrell, like If This World Were Mine, Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing, and You're All I Need to Get By. The second hint, this recording artist once took a break from the music biz and tried out for the Detroit Lions. The third hint, this recording artist had a stellar solo career with hits like Inner City Blues, Distant Lover, After the Dance, I Want You, Let's Get It On, Got to Give It Up, The Ecology or the Mercy Mercy Me song, Save the Children, What's Going On, and Sexual Healing. And then the fourth and final hint, this recording artist was tragically murdered the day before his birthday by his own father in 1984. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Hannah Boyd from Spring Hill, Louisiana, winning a free tee on this episode. Alright, now this month is Domestic Violence Prevention Month. Now, domestic violence is violence or other abuse that occurs in a domestic setting, such as in a marriage or cohabitation. Domestic violence is often used as a synonym for intimate partner violence, which is committed by one of the people in an intimate relationship against the other person, and can take place in relationships or between former spouses or partners. In its broadest sense, domestic violence also involves violence against children, parents, or the elderly. It can assume multiple forms, including physical, verbal, emotional, economic, religious, reproductive, financial abuse, sexual abuse, or a combination of the last two that I just named. It can range from subtle, coercive forms to marital rape and other violent physical abuse such as choking, beating, female genital mutilation, and acid throwing that may result in disfigurement or death, and includes the use of technology to harass, control, monitor, stalk, or hack. One sobering thing about domestic violence is that it is the most unreported crime in the world. Not just here in the U.S., but all throughout the world. I mean, there are even countries that where domestic violence isn't even a crime. But my thing is, now Disclaimer, I've never been married, but I do know right from wrong. And I can tell you that domestic violence of any form is wrong. I mean, it makes no sense to want to be controlling and want to be violent. I mean, that's not how marriages work. In fact, that's not marriage. That's slavery. I mean, when it comes to any level of relationships, whether it be dating, engagement, or marriage, it's supposed to be about two things: love and trust. I mean, how can you be married to someone when you don't trust them? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I mean, just to get putting your hands on the other person is not getting your point across. All it is just making you more of a coward than you really are. And here's the thing: we as people, if we see any signs of a domestic violence, and we need to follow the advice of the late great John Lewis. If you see something, say something, do something. Although, here's the one thing about domestic violence: is do not ever get in the middle of a domestic dispute. I once had a family member who had a best friend who was in a domestic dispute, and she had enough and tried to get in the middle of it, and it cost her own life. Now look, domestic violence again is a crime. It is the most unreported crime in the world. So if you see signs of domestic violence, call the police. It's the police's duty to uphold the law, but it's also our duty to report any wrongdoing. And I don't want to hear any nonsense about, well, they're not going to believe us. Look, any police officer that doesn't believe that you witnessed or have seen signs of domestic violence, they don't deserve their badges. Yeah, I said it. They don't deserve their badges. Because this is cowardly, it's wrong, and it just needs to stop. And to all people that are in a domestic dispute or on the receiving end of domestic violence, I love y'all, and I don't want to see y'all hurt. And there's a hotline that I'm going to post right now. It's the National Domestic Violence Hotline. The number is 1-800-799-7233. Now, if you're tech savvy, then go ahead and text the word BEGIN, BEGIN, in capital letters to 88788. I mean, my thing is that if you're in this kind of thing, no one's going to fault you if you leave. Now, I don't always agree with divorce, but I'll tell you something I don't agree with fully. I don't agree with this kind of junk. Because again, any marriage or any form of relationship in which this takes place, it's not a relationship. It's slavery, and it needs to stop. But again, to everyone that's out there that's on the receiving end of domestic violence, I love y'all, and I want y'all to live, and I want y'all to live happy lives. All right, this is a domestic violence prevention comic hero tee. If you'd like one, you can find them on IamTheComicHero.com/shop for $17, and I will donate half of each purchase to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, which is the NCADV. All right, here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode, which is the last episode of the 400s, episode 499, I'm celebrating Halloween, and in a mystery pop-up segment, I'm raising awareness against multiple hereditary exostoses. And then the day after I do Louisiana Delta Comic Con, it's the 500th episode of the Comic Hero Show. And next week, I'm going to post the 500th episode Comic Hero tee for everyone to see. As soon as I'm done with this episode, and I'm a little upset at myself for not being able to do it any sooner, I'm going to post it on the Comic Hero Fan Forum Facebook page, so everyone that is like that page will be able to see it before anyone does. And if you happen to see it, either like, love, or leave a positive comment. And just like the 11th anniversary Comic Hero tee, I will enter your name in a drawing. And at the end of the 500th episode, I will draw 5 names. And and each of y'all's names that I draw, y'all will win the 500th episode Comic Hero tee. But stay tuned for that. All right, and on episode 501, I'm celebrating Veterans Day. Now, Veterans Day is when we honor the men and women that have served in any branch of the U.S. military who are still with us today. And on episode 502, I'm celebrating adoption. November is Adoption Awareness Month. All right, now I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep saying it until the day up, and this is the next to last time that I get to say it, but meet me at the first annual Louisiana Delta Comic-Con. It's on November 2nd at the main campus of Louisiana Delta Community College in Monroe, Louisiana. It's on 7500 Millhaven Lane, which is right down the road from Pecan Mall. Well, I said Millhaven Lane. Millhaven Road. I think I've been saying Millhaven Lane for the last few weeks, but no, it's Millhaven Road. And then there's going to be some great guests. I'm going to be a guest panelist, and then Shane Dyson, who is a student, who was part of the class of 2016 at Louisiana Delta Community College, who was one of the original members of the Louisiana Delta Anime Club, will be there, and he'll be doing some cosplays. And then my good friend John Stout, who is the founder and owner of Kettlebriar Workshop, he's going to be doing cosplay, and these two are going to be judges of the cosplay contest. So if you're a cosplay enthusiast, if you like to dress up, or you want to dress up as or just like you did for Halloween, this is for y'all. And then JJ Cosplays, who is an up-and-coming cosplay model, will be there as well, and then members of the Monroe Moccasins hockey team. And then there's also going to be video game tournaments and food trucks. Now this all takes place on November 2nd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I'm going to be I'm going to be doing a 20-minute Q&A segment. So if y'all want to pick my brain about comics or how I got started with the show or anything like that, as Loretta, and you also want to pick the brain of any of the guest panelists, including the Monroe Moccasins hockey team, or partake in just about anything else that takes place, as Loretta Lynn used to say, y'all come. All right. Man, I love doing this show. Y'all just have no idea. And as I've said once before, I'm going to continue to do the show until I'm physically unable to. And if y'all have any ideas for the show, and if y'all like some of the things that are the new things that I'm doing, just let me know. And if y'all have any input, just let me know as well. Your input doesn't fall upon deaf ears with me. Y'all know that. All right, if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. As soon as you're done, hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the East Texas Comic-Con Fans Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the Comic Book Lovers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Louisiana Delta Content Creators Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. All right, I'm Victor Nolly. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for the last of the 400s, episode 499, where I celebrate Halloween and raise awareness of multiple hereditary exostoses. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero!